Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we've got a couple of things to talk about. There's a bit more, I say a bit more, there's all the kill team information you could possibly want, and there's a really interesting thing, which is like Black Library Horror, which is, it's kind of cool. I like the idea of it. So we'll start off with Kill Team. There is a massive long article with literally everything you've ever wanted to know about Kill Team available on the Warhammer community website. We'll just quickly pick up a couple of neat things out of it. Firstly, the box set itself actually looks really damn good. There is a massive amount of terrain in there. There's a couple of kill teams which people rightfully pointed out that we actually already knew what the starting things would be for kill team, and it would be Skitarii versus Genestealer cults. You're absolutely correct. I'd completely forgotten about that. I mean, we'd seen this stuff in videos, and, well, my brain is just made of mush and idiocy at the moment, so I just totally forgot all that stuff. And so when I was like, Rogue Trader could be the opening thing, it's not. Most likely it looks like it's going to be an expansion set. So ignore what I said yesterday. I was talking shit, which, let's face it, happens often enough anyway, so, you know, it's not like there isn't a form for that. But yeah, the actual box itself, as you can see, there'll be a picture on the screen, has got a nice amount of stuff in there. It looks pretty good. It looks like a decent box. And once again, I remain impressed at the fact that we don't have Space Marines as the default thing. The box set does not contain Space Marines. It has no power. I don't think Skitarii have power armor. I don't play Skitarii in any way, shape, or form. So, but this is once again a Space Marine or power armor free zone, both in terms of normal Space Marines, you know, Imperium loyal Space Marines, and Heretic Space Marines, which I like it. Do more of that. Push more of the other armies. This is the way to get out of the cycle of Space Marines get everything because everyone buys Space Marines. If you push other armies, if you introduce ways for people to start collecting armies that aren't fucking power armor, their popularity will go up, which means you will have an excuse to make more stuff for them, which, I mean, this is what they're doing, so keep doing it. For the love of God, just stick anything that isn't Space Marines in box sets to get people in. Just keep doing this. It's great. I really like this. I like that it's not just more goddamn Space Marine stuff. It's the right way to go. For me, anyway. I'm just, you know, even as someone with a Space Marine army, I mean, there's a video on this channel showing my Space Marine army. It's not a giant army, but it's also not a small army either. Even I reckon, you know, maybe a bit more Xenos shit would be nice, or just even Imperium stuff that isn't Space Marines. That's what this is. I like it. Great. There's also the core manual is just going to be available by itself, which is excellent. I was hoping they would do that, although to be honest, depending on the price of the core of the box set, I'm assuming it's going to be around the same as everything else. Honestly, the model count, the actual model count, is lower than something like Dark Imperium or Age of Sigmar, but there is a lot of terrain in there. There is a lot of terrain in there, and I would be surprised if it was like cheap. But then again, if you want to get people in and you want to get people buying it, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I honestly can't really predict a price point for this. I mean, my gut says it's going to be around the same as the other boxes. You know, it's like Forgebane and Dark Imperium and the Soul Wars box. On the other hand, you are getting significantly fewer models than you get in those boxes, but you are also getting a decent amount of terrain, and it's not small terrain either. It is big terrain. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I can't remember whether there's been a leak for pricing or not. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I can't remember one. I did have a quick look, and I couldn't really see anything that was like concrete, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, there's the box, there's the core manual you can get by yourself. There are like different rules for different terrain types and stuff, which I quite like. And there are like expansion things, so there's like Kill Zone for Sector Mechanica, stuff like that. Again, that comes with its own thing. So it's got the terrain, it's got the boards to put it on, and it's got like an environment card and stuff, and tactics and stuff like that. I really like the way they're handling this. They say it's going to be supported ongoing. I really hope that it is, because I like the way they're going about this. There's also going to be like actual kill teams you can buy. So the examples given are like the Fangs of Ulrich and Grog School's Boys, which, again, quality. And those seem to come with their own bits of terrain, by the look of it. So I mean, that's really good. It gives you an excuse to buy other kill teams. It expands your terrain collection significantly, which is just going to improve the variety of matches that you have. I'm honestly impressed. I am genuinely very impressed with this. I like the way they're doing it. As I say, the price is going to be interesting. I just don't know how to predict it at all. There's also, it looks like there's going to be actual kill team like merch, so like model carriers and stuff. Again, I quite like it. They seem to be really going in hard on this, which good. Like smaller squad based stuff, you can't go wrong with it at all. And there's also a list of the factions that you'll be able to play at the launch of Kill Team, and those factions. I mean, glancing at it, it's just pretty much everything. So we've got Adeptus Astartes, we have Death. What? No, do we go down the left and then down the right, or do I go left to? I'll go left to right because I think. No, I'm just going to go down and then down. Adeptus Astartes, Deathwatch, Grey Knights, Astra Militarum, Adeptus Mechanicus, Heretic Astartes, Death Guard, Thousand Suns, Azuriani, Drukhari, Harlequins, Necrons, Orcs, Tau Empire, Tyranids, Genestealer, Cults. So, I mean, that's pretty comprehensive. Can't see the Custodies in there anywhere, but, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm trying to work out what is going to be missing out of those. I mean, when it comes to things like, it's a little bit confusing in a way because there's a Space Wolf Kill Team box, but Space Wolves aren't listed. I'm assuming that they are just under the umbrella of Adeptus Astartes as a whole. The only reason I say that's confusing is because Heretic Astartes, Death Guard and Thousand Suns are listed separately, but Death Guard and Thousand Suns are undeniably Heretic Astartes. It's probably just like fiddly stuff like that, but honestly, it's pretty damn comprehensive. There's a Q&A as well for like questions that people have been asking that you can download in PDF form. This is the right way to do this. I like how much detail has been put into this article. It's well worth having a full read through. We're not going through the whole thing like sentence by sentence because it would take longer than if you just read it yourself, and also I don't want to get anything wrong. But yeah, I was already looking forward to Kill Team. I am now most definitely impressed with the way that they are doing the release, and it looks to be something that they have put a genuinely significant amount of time and work into, which is exactly what you want to see. The other thing, that was only supposed to be quick, and that was still like 8 minutes rambling. Anyway, the other thing is the horror series that is going to be a thing. And I'm not a massive horror fan, right? It's Warhammer Horror, and again, there's an article that I'll link down below. And as they say, the Warhammer settings have always been dark and macabre places filled with terrors and malign forces, demons, dark sorcery, unquiet spirits, human sacrifice, and monstrous gods. It would be difficult to imagine a more perfect setting for a horror series. They're not wrong. They're absolutely not wrong. I really hope that all the people who just took an instant negative view of Warhammer Adventures is seeing this and realising that maybe that wasn't the end of the world. That maybe it's not the worst thing ever to try, at the very least, to make some sort of like lower age entry point into the hobby. I'm still essentially neutral on that, right? It could be a good idea, could be a bad idea. It depends very much on the execution, and since we haven't got it to read yet, it would be pointless for me to sit there and go, well, that's shit, because I don't know if it's shit because I haven't read it. I mean, that's the basis I'm going on. It's very difficult to completely and accurately judge a work before that work has been completed. This, to be honest, I think shows more than ever that they're not attempting to just cut out part of their audience or just attempting to dumb the setting down for the sake of one group of people. They're just expanding it to all groups of people. I mean, I would argue that up until this point, despite the fact that, as they point out, the Warhammer universe, both 40k and, like, I would say, stuff that has happened in Warhammer Fantasy, and just, I mean, the concept of the Nighthaunts in Age of Sigmar is grim as fuck. This is the kind of thing that is kind of lacking, and it's now being directly addressed. There is an element of horror to especially 40k that is relatively underexplored. I won't even say relatively, I think it is underexplored. Whilst I might not be a fan of it personally, there are people out there who fucking love horror. I know this to be true. It's impossible not to know that to be true when you look at the success of anything horror-based ever. They're just expanding out again. Actual Warhammer Horror sounds like a really good idea. It sounds like a great idea, and despite the fact that I'm not a horror fan, it's something that I'm genuinely interested in because I want to see how it's handled. There is so much dark and nasty potential in Warhammer 40k especially, that in a way it's amazing that this hasn't been done before. But on the other hand, I can kind of see why it hasn't as well. It's very easy to play it safe. We know what works in terms of Warhammer 40k novels, and the Horus Heresy and the Space Marine Battle series are all good examples of sticking with what works. The Warhammer Adventures thing, and this now, Warhammer Horror, it's branching out, it's expanding out into markets that have not been touched yet, and again, with this, it would be very easy to say, oh, that sounds like a terrible idea. It's going to very much depend on the execution, but I will say that I think that it is set up far better for a horror series than a kids series. I hope that both of them are successful, and I hope that both of them work, but I can see the horror one working better. Again, that's not like an indication of like not believing that whoever writes any of these things are not good enough. It's just the setting itself, I think, would lend itself more easily to that. I'm excited for this, firstly, because it is a direct kind of answer to those who were concerned that Warhammer Adventures is like going to somehow wreck the rest of the hobby. I'm also excited because it shows that they are still branching out, they're still trying stuff, they're still pushing it, they are committed to trying new things. Like, Games Workshop is not just sitting there going, okay, well, this works, fuck it, we won't touch anything else. Again, this is a good indication that they are trying to improve, and they are trying to reach more people and do more with the setting that they have, which I can't see it as a bad thing. At the very least, trying it. Whether it works out in the end or not, to me, I won't say it's irrelevant, because it's not irrelevant. Things that do well are obviously going to be better than things that don't, but it gives me a nice amount of confidence and satisfaction that Games Workshop are prepared to try things that they haven't tried before when they could just cruise. Because they could just cruise. They could easily just cruise where they are right now, but they're not. They are actively pushing the envelope of what they're doing with their settings. Whether or not it works, that alone, I think, is worthy of a little bit of praise. Even if you don't necessarily like every decision they make, the fact that they are trying to make these decisions at all, I think there should be a certain amount of respect for that. So yeah, this Warhammer Horror stuff, I really like the look of it. I'm going to attempt it. Whether I actually get through it in any capacity, I don't know, because if there's one person I don't understand, it's the person who enjoys being scared. That's not me in the slightest. I do not enjoy being scared. I don't sit there and get like a thrill from it. I'm not like, oh, this is exciting. I'm just like, this sucks. Let me out. Let me out right now. Oh my god, I hate this. Please let me leave. But if it's Warhammer, I think I'll be willing to try it, just because it's Warhammer and I want to see what they do. Oh, it's going to be such a quandary. I'm probably just going to fail to read. I'll get like 10 pages into each book and go, no, that's me done. But I'm at least willing to give it a go, and I'm happy that Games Workshop is as well. Okay, so there you go. Those are the two big update things that have happened over the last, 24 hours or so. Massive Kill Team info and Warhammer Horror. Both look pretty fucking cool, and I'm glad they exist. Let me know what you think about the two of them in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click the videos, Patreon, subscribe, all of that shit. I don't know what this is. Click it if you like. Don't click if you don't want to. And I'll see you next time. Don't know what the hell that was. Bye.